All right, here we go. For those of you listening in who haven't seen this, this is my first hour class doing this. My plan, as I just told Mr. Skov, is that we're going to do this video in 3 different segments. This first one is going to be an overview. So this will have all of the different philosophy stuff, all of the different vocabulary terms. The second one will be problem and solutions for, it's not that sensitive, don't worry, the kid sharpening in the back is not going to be picked up, just relax. The second one will be examples of supply and demand and pricing. And the third one will be an example of problem solving for factors of production. So the first thing we always do, we have a review, 2, 4, 5, unit 5 review. And we have our underlying question, what drives motivation? If you notice, that's an interesting question to have at the beginning, considering what you think you would talk about once we get in here. When we think economics, most people are going to think we're going to talk about money, and we're going to talk about money, and we're going to talk about how to make money. And we very, very seldom talked about that. The only time we really talked about money is in pricing. Other than that, and monetary cost, I should say. Other than that, we really didn't address it. What we really addressed is this. What drives motivation? What do we have for answers? Incentives, good. So what drives motivation? Incentives and choices. And that's really what this entire unit is about, is how do you make choices and how can we incentivize your choices? In other words, what can we do to encourage you to make good choices? What can we do to encourage you to make the decisions we want? Now we know it's really easy. We have the law of demand and law of supply, which means if we change the price, if we change your monetary remuneration, right, the amount that we pay you, we know what will happen predictably for your behavior. The problem is we are always competing for dates, for affection, for time, for jobs, for positions. We're always competing. So if all we can do is move price, we're going to have problems. What we talked about this was first economic reasoning. And what we said is there are really a variety of factors that will influence us and dictate how we make choices. We understand first with economic reasoning that everything has a cost. Everything. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. Everything has a cost. So, I'm going to give you an example. Okay? Last night, I had a choice. So here's our example. Last night, I had a choice. I could go watch hockey with a buddy of mine, because the Blackhawks were playing, or what? What would my second choice be? Play with Charlie, right? It doesn't matter all the other million things. I could go for a run, right? I could do a million different things, but at the end of the day, I'm going to winnow that all the way down to 2 choices. I'm going to do A or I'm going to do B, nothing else. So I'm going to go watch hockey or play with Charlie. I chose watching hockey. Now, there's a lot of things that go into those decisions. Why did I choose to go watch hockey? Good. The hockey game is only last night. I already played with Charlie earlier. I can play with Charlie today. I'm not going to go watch another hockey game at a buddy's house until maybe Saturday. So I have all of Thursday, all of Friday, all of Saturday day, all of Sunday to play with Charlie. So for this, the costs are less. What was my opportunity cost? What did I give up? I didn't give up my child. It's not like I'm like, well, I'm going to play hockey so you can have my kid, I guess. I'm never going to see him again. What was my opportunity cost? Not his happiness. He didn't cry. Well, he did a little probably. Time with Charlie, right? Time with Charlie. So as we talk about this, here's what we see is we have no financial cost associated with my choice. None. But we did have a cost, and that's critically important. What you need to know about economic reasoning is, I believe there were 6 factors, correct? So that's what your job is. Go back, if you don't have them, If you hadn't taken those notes on economic reasoning part 1 or part 2, those videos are up. I will put them up right after this hour. If you don't have those in your notes, you should go back and look at them. But the real big issue is this. Make sure you understand that everything has a cost, right? What the most important costs are, and then how to solve this as an example. I'll give you an example now with monetary cost. Jen. You don't have to know them in order. That was the question. Do we have to know these in order? No, you don't have to know them in order. You have to have an understanding of them. Why do people make the choices they do? Really, it's the idea that you are rational human beings. In other words, you use logic. You use problem-solving deductive reasoning to go, hey, if I weigh these options, which is best for me? If we change incentives, your choices will change. If Charlie had had soccer last night or hockey last night, would I have chosen watching the hockey game? No, I would not have, because the incentives for me would have changed. If it's Charlie's birthday last night, no way am I going to go watch hockey on that, right? Because my wife would kill me. Right? Yeah, we're not going to do that. So here's what we see then. Opportunity cost. Make sure you understand those 6 factors. I want to give you another example real quick. Let's see if this works. Here we go. I want to give you another example of problem solving using economic reasoning. This one will have an opportunity cost and a monetary cost. That's example 1. Here's example 2. Okay? I could go to dinner or watch a movie. That's my choice. Should we go to dinner or watch a movie? Now, remember, obviously you could come up with scenarios where it's like, why can't you do both? Let's just say, for the sake of this argument, I can't do both. Doesn't matter why, I can't do both. I choose to go to the movie. I choose a movie. I can eat at home. What was my OC, or opportunity cost? Going to dinner. That's it. What was my monetary cost? Hold on a second. In other words, what was my actual financial cost? What's that? What about the movie? Correct. Not just going to the movie. That's not a monetary cost, but the price of the movie. We need to understand the price of the movie is my monetary cost. So in that choice, I had 2 different forms of cost. What I gave up, which is dinner, and what I had to pay, which is the cost of the movie. So now we will get into, now the reason we do all this stuff, a lot of you are sitting here going, why do I care about this? What does this have to do with me? I told you, to me, this is the most important unit we cover all year, maybe in your entire high school career, because this is what you need to do to think about whether you should go to college or not. Some of you should not go to college. Now, that's not because you're unable. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying for some of you, the opportunity cost and monetary cost compared to the incentives of going to college make no sense. If your dad owns a plumbing company and you want to be a plumber, you know you do, and you want to take over your dad's business, and your dad does really well, should you go to college? No, because guess what? When you spend all of that money in college to get a job that you already could get, you're out that money. And so people would say, well, cultural enrichment and life experience, all that stuff, sure. But are you telling me you can't get cultural enrichment by taking the money you earn as a plumber and going to the theater? Get a library card. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots and lots of ways to experience life without spending $160,000 in college. Now, parents are probably overhearing this, and they're going, why is a teacher telling my kid not to go to college? Am I telling you not to go to college? No, what I'm telling you is this. I have 150 kids every year, and 150 kids have to do this type of economic reasoning and make this decision on their own and figure out what's best for them. Do I know what's best for you? No. I do know that if you want to be a doctor, you can't just step into that role. I do know that if your dad has a really successful business and knows how to make money, you can probably learn from him more than you can from college. Any questions on this? Good? Good.